Hey, this is Sergio, and in this video, we visit a property that's currently being remodeled, that's under construction, and I wanted to make this video because it's quite a unique perspective as to what happens underneath the windows and doors that we can't necessarily see when we're at a retrofit, which is when we're replacing old windows for new windows. We can't really see what's going on behind the scenes, but in this video, you're gonna understand why it's so important to understand what's going on in the underneath. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start with the front door. I'm not sure why, but front doors, I just have a special thing for them. And here we see that this door was just recently installed, and we can see the wood buck exposed. And this is the perfect example because this opening was just made. So your house, if it is concrete, it does need a wood buck right here on the sides and on the top when it comes to doors. It does not need one at the bottom because at the bottom we do have concrete. Now this is a door, keep in mind, that is not finished, but per the NOAs, per the code, we cannot have more than 1/4 of scap here to use the shim. So right now this door is properly installed. This here is known as the cluster. The reason you have 4 anchors on a French door is because this is the weakest point in any door, because the rest of the door right now it's being pressed onto this frame right here. This entire frame during the hurricane is actually gonna hold the door, this whole piece of frame, where doors that open inward wouldn't have the opportunity. And this is a window where you can clearly see that the wood buck, completely brand new, going around, meeting into the concrete right there. And you can see that when we retrofit a house, this is what the bare opening looks like. It's just concrete. So when we come into a house to change the windows, this wood is usually old, rotten. When we get to the back, we can actually see a clear depiction of why this video is so important. You see the bare concrete block, you have your window, and then you have your wood buck right here. The wood buck on an old house needs to be changed, not only because the frame of the window is wider than the old buck, but sometimes it's rusted, it's rotted, it's absolutely no good. And here we can see that the wood buck was completely changed. And the reason it's so exposed right now is because this is a home currently being remodeled. So it gives us the opportunity to do so. Now, an exception to the rule is actually gonna be precast window openings. This is when the contractor, at the time of the original manufacturing of the building, they had a precast, which is a concrete that was made, prefabricated, and then just put into the opening for the windows and the doors. When it is precast, we don't have to use any window buck, and the NOA, which is the engineering of the window, which guides everything. If you ever want to know how an installation is properly done, you just go look at what the engineer and what the city has approved. When it is precast, we don't have to use any single wood. And let me show you what that looks like. So here we can see perfectly that we have the concrete blocks going on around the sides. We have the tie beam, which is holding on to the roof. And then we have the prefabricated opening for the window. And here you can see that we didn't have to use any wood. We were actually able to just anchor directly onto this, going all around right there. And that's what's known as a prefabricated opening. And honestly, most of the openings here are just like that. And I'm gonna show you just a few more of the openings so you get a better idea what I'm referring to. You could see there, we have the precast going all around, and that's the actual structure, as well as over there, over here, and that window right there also. Here, because the old window that was in was a different size. When we measured these windows for retrofitting, sometimes we have to use a wood buck on the bottom, even though it is a precast. Storefront window here, this is a new opening, so we had to use a wood buck going all the way around. And then we have a 3-panel sliding glass door, so when this family has their kitchen, their living room, they're gonna be able to enjoy this out here. And this sliding door, you're gonna see how smooth it actually just closes right there. And you can see what this house is gonna look like once it's done, just a little glimpse. So another system that we have here is actually a storefront system. Here, this is 3 separate pieces of storefront windows put together by this screw right here, as well as the anchors going around the top right here, the top, and actually the bottom. The storefronts do not need any anchors on the side, but you can see it's heavily reinforced. And then the joining of this storefront with this one, you can see it's together in that place with that screw. Very nice. And lastly, we have these 3 French doors. This is going to be the master area, but you can see that we had to use a wood buck on the top, and then on the bottom, that's just going to be tile and floor. But the homeowner is going to be able to have all this natural light going into their patio area. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be a bathroom here, so that's why these windows are frosted and you can't see in or out when it comes to frosted. That's it for this home, but the most important thing to realize is, what is a wood buck? Why is it important? Why do I have to make sure that it is replaced? And the answer to that is, it has to cover the width of the new window. Hurricane windows are wider than a non-impact window, and the wood buck has to be able to support that. If the house is not concrete and you don't have precast, then the wood is a completely different story, a different video that I'm gonna be making for a different way that the window is manufactured. But if your house is concrete, ensure that the wood buck is replaced. And if it has precast, then you have absolutely nothing to worry about, because the window is gonna go straight into the concrete and it's gonna be much better. So if you learned anything from this video and you did enjoy it, please share with a friend, and I'll catch you on the next one.